Throughout modern history, every war has also been a money-making machine. While ordinary people fight, a massive financial system is built in the background, and that system controls the money in your pocket. Have you ever thought about how America makes money from wars? Look, the issue isn't just weapons and soldiers. When the First World War began in 1914, America stayed out, but the business world was already in. While Europe was bleeding, Wall Street was lending. Banks like J.P. Morgan loaned billions of dollars to England and France. Not just loans, they sold weapons, wheat, coal, everything. Every bullet that exploded was also a debt to be repaid with interest. When America officially entered the war in 1917, the financial system had already taken deep root. If England lost, Wall Street would lose too. So the war was no longer just about the nation, it was about money. So what were ordinary citizens told? Buy bonds for the homeland. Posters with Uncle Sam pointing his finger were everywhere. Even children collected coins to buy bonds. For the first time, an entire country was financially mobilized. But notice this. While small savers gave a few dollars, the real winners were the bankers and industrialists at the top. Factories exploded with activity. Profits soared. And a formula was established. War is financed not just with gold, but with debt sold to the public. Did this formula ever change? No. In the Second World War, the same model grew even larger. America once again became the arsenal of democracy. Before entering the war in 1941, factories were already running at full capacity. 85 million Americans bought war bonds, raising a total of $185 billion. More than half of the war was financed with this money. Companies, Boeing, General Motors, Ford, made guaranteed profits through military contracts. The state paid up front, factories produced weapons, shareholders collected dividends. War was no longer just a tragedy, it became an economic engine. But do you know what the real silent revolution was? The end of the gold standard. During the war, gold convertibility was suspended. The dollar no longer rested on gold, but on the power of the American state, its army, and its industry. With the Bretton Woods Agreement in 1944, the dollar became the world's currency. War made America not only militarily, but financially, the center of the world. Pause and think. Wars that destroyed Europe enriched America. Every bond, every loan, every factory laid the foundation of today's financial system. The war machine wasn't only military, it was economic. Did this stop in 1945? Absolutely not. The Cold War began. Military spending continuously increased. Aviation, electronics, oil. All were financed through defense budgets. Economists called this military Keynesianism. War spending kept the economy alive. An emergency measure turned into a permanent strategy. So what's the scary part here? When war spending generates profit, the system constantly demands more conflict. Defense companies win. Banks win. Politicians win. Ordinary citizens? They pay the bill through inflation, taxes, and debt. Let's come to the Vietnam War. It exceeded $100 billion. It failed militarily, but the financial gears didn't stop. Defense companies sold helicopters, planes, weapons. Banks financed borrowing through the bond market. Ordinary Americans once again shouldered everything. What was the result? Inflation exploded. In 1971, Nixon completely ended the gold standard. The dollar now rested not on gold, but on the power of the American state and its army. Vietnam changed not just geopolitics, but money itself. Do you think this was a coincidence? In the 1970s, oil shocks occurred. The petrodollar system was established. Oil was priced only in dollars. Military presence in the Middle East guaranteed this system. Money and war were no longer separate conversations. They were the same thing. Come to 1991. The Gulf War. It was short, but the profits of defense and oil companies were enormous. The war was broadcast live, and so were the profits. Military technology companies showcased precision weapons, and stock prices soared. Then came September 11th. The wars in Afghanistan and Iraq cost a total of $6 trillion. Add long-term care for veterans and interest on the debt. With that money, generations of free education, infrastructure, and healthcare could have been built. Instead, companies like Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and Halliburton received massive budgets. The financing method was the same. Bonds were issued. The Federal Reserve kept interest rates low. Ordinary taxpayers carried today's national debt on their shoulders. Wars wrapped in the rhetoric of freedom and democracy became channels of money and power for financial and corporate elites. Here is the hidden irony. America did not truly win most of these wars in the classical sense. Vietnam ended in defeat. Iraq descended into chaos. Afghanistan was abandoned after 20 years. But financially, the wars never failed. Contracts were fulfilled. Loans were repaid. Interest kept accruing. Regardless of the outcome, war became profitable. For those at the top, endless conflict wasn't a problem. It was a business model. Let's connect this to today. The military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned about in 1961 is now an inseparable part of the American financial system. Defense spending exceeds $800 billion a year. Entire industries depend on it. Wall Street profits by financing it. Politicians gain votes by protecting it. The cycle is endless. What does this mean for you? The money in your pocket, the inflation at the grocery store, the taxes deducted from your salary. All are tied to a financial system that normalizes war as a permanent background condition. Whether bombs are dropped or not, the machine keeps running. The financial truth most people are never taught is this: wars are not only fought on the battlefield, but also in your wallet, in the cost of living, in the erosion of your financial freedom. Was the 2008 crisis caused by war? No, but the script was very similar. Government bailouts, corporate profits protected, ordinary citizens holding the bag. During the pandemic, trillions of dollars were printed, most of which flowed not to the public, but to companies and financial markets. Mechanisms perfected during wartime, deficit financing, bond issuance, corporate guarantees, now apply in peacetime as well. Do you know what the most disturbing truth is? When you understand this history, you realize that conflict and crisis are not anomalies. They are part of the system. For those who know how to use debt, currency, and resources, they are opportunities. For others, traps. Inflation erodes savings. Bubbles burst. Debt chains tighten. The financial system feeds on volatility because volatility creates dependency, and dependency creates control. So what's the lesson? It's not just that war is bad. That's obvious. The real lesson is this: money and power are inseparable. Every major conflict in modern history has been at least as much about financial opportunity as ideology. When you hear calls for intervention, when defense budgets rise, when your cost of living increases, don't just ask, who is the enemy? Ask, who is winning? This is financial education, not just budgeting or investing. It's understanding how the system was built, whom it serves, and how history repeats itself. The next time someone tells you war is about honor, democracy, or freedom, remember this: war is also about balance sheets, interest payments, and corporate profits. The financial system has been engineered each time to make sure you pay the bill. If you want real wealth, real financial freedom, you must see beyond slogans and propaganda and recognize the money and power machine as it truly is. Because if you don't understand it, it will crush you. The real question is this: will you keep paying the bill, or will you understand the game and write your own rules? Stay enlightened.